Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I am back on again with Jamie Alimorad. He has just put out another amazing song called Break the Fall, and I'm super excited to have him back on again today. Jamie, what is up? How have you been? Let's get the update.
Austin, it's good to see you. Things have been great. I love springtime, and spring
Yes.
this year means a rebirth in live music for me. On May 4th, I'm playing my first show in over 2 years at the Listening Room in
Amazing.
Nashville. And I had a great rehearsal session yesterday. It's a singer-songwriter night, so it's me and another guitar player working on the harmonies right now for all the new material.
Okay. Wait, did you say Nashville?
Yeah, Nashville.
Oh, okay. I was assuming Los Angeles for some reason, but
No,
Nashville, that's the place to go.
I'm actually getting to travel. It'll be the first time in 2.5 years that I'll see another time zone.
Amazing.
Very excited about that.
Amazing. Well, I mean, if there's one amazing place to play, it's certainly Nashville.
Yeah, it's
Um,
been a few years since I've been there, and I'm looking forward to getting back and seeing some friends.
Sweet. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
You've got this new song out. It's called Break the Fall. It's as good as anything else that you put out there, and I'm not surprised, obviously.
thank
And I want to kick things off again by getting a background on the song. What does this one mean to you? And just any fun facts you'd like to share about it.
of the new batch of songs that we started last year and releasing throughout this year. This one is the most heartfelt to me.
Oh, okay.
It's from a very vulnerable place and several levels. And during these strange COVID times, I met new people in very interesting ways. And in times where you felt like, oh, we could do some things, we would all get together and one-on-one stuff like that. So I started spending time with someone, and we have become very close. And we were seeing each other pretty frequently to go on hikes and hang out and stuff
Yeah.
like that around town, as people will do. But I had been speaking with her, and I knew some things had been going on that were having an effect on her, weighing pretty heavy. So I texted her one day and said, "Hey, let's just go out on an adventure some night. Let's just go have a good time." And she said, "I would love that. I could really use that." So we got in the car and drove towards Santa Monica.
Nice.
And for whatever reason, during that car ride, she decided to open up to me about some things for the first time.
Mm.
And we're both in various fields of entertainment. So there's certain sympathy and empathy that comes along with particular scenarios. And I don't want to get too much into the things that she said,
Sure.
but there's there's always going to be some sort of feeling, whether you want to call it imposter syndrome or if it's just an added pressure that what's it all for sort of thing. Is it ever going to really matter to certain people or to the world?
Mhm.
And I feel very blessed that I have a great support system. I feel that she does too. I can't really say anything about that, but she's spoken very highly of the people close to her in her life. But in that particular moment, there was someone, or there was some people that were basically saying, "Why are you doing this? It's never going to work out. It's never going to happen." And it broke my heart hearing the various things that she said. And as the night went on, we went out for dinner, then we went out on the pier and played some games in the arcade, and won a stuffed
Yeah, man, your
animal and all that.
classic Santa Monica evening.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
get it.
it's like basically out of a rom-com or something.
Oh,
But it was a
100%.
really, really magical night and fun night. And then we came back to my spot and played some music for hours because she sings too.
Nice.
And the whole evening just stayed with me. It was particularly special. A few days later, I was booked to go back in the studio with my producer, Ross Finelli. And as soon as I came in, he was sitting on the couch and he goes, "Hey, I have this idea, this melodic idea I came up with this morning over breakfast." And he starts playing me this little thing on guitar. He goes, "Okay, it sounds a little slower than I actually want it to be." But he's humming this melody, and I went, "Oh, I really like this." It reminded me of something, some sort of hybrid between uh, Phil Collins, George Michael, and the Police. That
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
synchronicity or Police stuff. And as he was singing it, I could pick up on the melody pretty quickly. And every so often I get lucky in actual English coming out of my mouth instead of doo-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da,
Right.
or something close to it.
Sure,
And
sure.
something I said was close to break the fall. And we both liked the idea. And I knew instantly what I wanted to talk about because the other night was on my mind so much. And we started writing lyrics, but the ideas were flowing faster than they could come out of my mouth. So I said, hey, can we pause for a second? Can we call time out? And I told him that something I like to do when it's not flowing very poetically is to just speak it or write it as if it's a short story. So I used him as a soundboard for about somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. And we wrote down all of these bullet point ideas. And there were certain things in there that went, that could fit very nice lyrically. And once you start getting things, and it's like a puzzle, you get a piece here, piece there, something
Absolutely.
in that corner is more complete, but this corner is very empty, but that thing's over there. And honestly, once we got into a groove, the song was finished in less than 20 minutes.
Are
It,
you
it,
serious?
it came together really, really fast. The only thing that changed later when we went to tracking was we had a very different bridge. It kind of didn't
Okay.
go. And initially we liked the shock because it kind of made it a little bit more driving.
Yeah.
But then as the production was built, that wasn't going to work anymore. And we had the bridge that is in the final recording, but there was no lyrics. And I was about to get on the microphone to do scratch vocal. And like, well,
Yeah.
we need words there. And he goes, all right, well, let's come up with them. And we legitimately he came up with a line, I came up with a line, he came up with a line, I came up with a line. Like, okay, done, that's it, let's do it.
I mean,
And
sometimes I guess it's as easy as that, you
yeah,
know?
it was so present, it was
Uh-huh.
so in the moment. And it's raw in a lot of ways,
Of
and
course.
something that I really like about this song. I'd like to say two things that I'm really fond of with this song. It's very rare for me that someone actually inspires the whole song. Maybe someone comes into mind, but this was something that I can see the person, and it's a
Mhm.
very positive song. And the other thing that goes along with that hand in hand is that the message in here isn't as if I'm some sort of white knight riding in on his trusty steed to
Of
save
course.
you.
That's
I
not,
mean, I
yeah.
very clearly say in the beginning of the chorus that this is your journey, but you don't have to do it alone.
Sure.
And that's something I've really found with people that in any field, but I'm going to focus on entertainment. The ones that are really, really driven have a tendency to let foolish pride get in the way because they so badly want to prove that I can do this.
Right.
But if we try to do it all by ourselves, it's not going to happen. And as you build up success, yeah, management, agent, this, that, the other thing, whatever, those people have their own roles, but they're not your people. They're not the ones that
No.
more than likely, if you're having a really bad day, are going to want to call you up and say, hey, I noticed you were a little off. Do you want to talk about it?
No, it's all business.
Exactly.
It's all
So,
business. But it's also not letting egos get in the way. You know what
right,
I mean? I
right.
I really like what you're saying because unfortunately it's so true. Sometimes we get in the way of ourselves on the way up and we think, I got this, I got this. And people, like, you're lucky enough to have a support system. People actually do want to help you. And you're
Of
like, no,
course.
it's fine, it's fine. But if you just open yourself up, you can go so much further just by accepting that and getting yourself out of it.
I agree.
I
I
love that.
agree. The message is universal. I
Totally.
mean, it just so happens in this particular case is very easy to relate because of different areas of a grander field that we're both a part of.
Exactly.
But I mean, we live really fast-paced lives at this point, and
It's,
I
yeah.
feel as if it's going to be almost double that because now everybody might have a sensation of I missed out on 2 years. I really have to
Oh,
make up for it.
that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and
It
I
really
see
is.
it, and it's it's overwhelming at times, and
Mhm.
it was just something I needed to get out. I needed to be able to say to this person that whatever hardships you're going through, you have to go through. The only way out is through,
Sure.
but you do not have to do it alone. And I think
Exactly.
that's something that should be applied to everybody.
And now these songs act as time capsules, and you can look
Yeah.
back on them and experience those positive times. And it's like, does this person, I assume that they know this song is about
Oh,
them,
they
or at
do.
least
Yeah.
inspired. Okay, cool.
I played it for months before it came out. That was
Okay.
kind of like a little nerve-wracking experience, I think, for both.
Yeah.
And that's something also I haven't really done, to be able to go to, again, this is a very positive song. It's not a breakup song. It's not, oh, I have a crush on so and so and they'll never find out.
Right.
This was just heartfelt to people of, hey, I care about you and I don't want you to be going through a hard time, period. But as everyone does have to do that, know that you're not alone.
Absolutely. Last time we spoke, which it's been about 3-ish months at this
Hmm.
point, things were slightly up in the air. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like, new year, we're trying to figure things out, what's going on, touring, making music. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. And so I love hearing about this song, but I also want like an update on your life. You've got
Oh,
the
sure.
show, yeah, you've got the show coming up. I assume you haven't stopped creating in the past few months.
No,
Like,
I have.
what's like the timeline? What's like the guideline, or things looking like for the rest of your year, I suppose, or what you can or can't say?
Well, it's been very cool since we spoke. Give a Little Lovin' has kind of taken on a life of its own. It's
Awesome.
by
I'm not
far
surprised.
my most successful single to this
Sweet,
point.
congrats on that.
Thank you. I mean, collectively, it's at about 5 million streams,
Holy
which is
shit.
very,
Excuse
very
my
cool.
language.
Yeah, and we did this music video that was a, I don't even know how to describe it. To get that video off the ground was an absolute nightmare. The idea of pre-production talk started back in October, and
Okay.
then it took its next step in November. And the people that I had been speaking to work with me just suddenly all pulled out. And like, all right, well, that sucks. Then right before the holidays, I spoke with another production group that I've done work with in the past. They were completely on board and then totally ghosted, completely ghosted. Okay. So
Okay.
then a mutual friend hooked me up with who I worked with on this video. And the guy that co-directed with me, his name's Trent Oliver. And he told me right from Jump Street, I can't be too involved with pre-production because he does editing on a television show.
Okay.
And that's taking up all of his time. And I went, okay, but can you film it and edit it? He goes, yeah, great.
All right.
That's really all I need.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do the location scouting. Just give me your input, stuff like that. And we went through a few places, and I really liked this very colorful spot, these different setups. It reminded me of the
Sure.
intro to A Different World, the old sitcom.
Okay.
And everything is solid rainbow colors. It's just red, purple, blue. It was interesting to
Where
me.
did you shoot it?
Someplace downtown in
Oh,
a
cool.
in a warehouse.
There you
It
go.
just, the like most disgusting looking area of like, what's here? And then you go
Yeah,
inside,
welcome to
wow,
downtown.
look at this. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Look at this crazy place.
Yeah.
So we basically had no concept going in. I said, I really don't know what this music video is, but I just want to have fun with it.
Yep.
And Birdie Harris starred alongside with me, and she was in my Not Ready to Say Goodbye music video a few years ago.
Mhm.
And we've become good friends, and we have good chemistry, all that stuff. And I said, let's just kind of wing it. And then about a third of the way through, I realized what the music video was, and relaying that to the crew, it started to become a little bit easier to get what we wanted. So essentially, instead of taking this ultra sexy vibe, which is more of what the cover of the single is, the artwork
Mhm.
there, we went really fun and playful. And it's a bunch of vignettes that are so over the top, cartoony in certain ways, of when you just really want that person and you think you're really cool, and then you wind up most of the time looking rather foolish.
Yep.
And
Been there.
yeah, right. We all have.
Totally.
And it came out really well. And then I pitched it to a few places, and MTV picked it up.
Oh,
It
damn.
it was on Spankin' News rotation for a month and did really, really well.
Nice.
And just another thing, it's like, okay, that's going. And the other fun thing that's happened since we last spoke is that I went to the Grammys, and
How was that?
was very cool. I've been a member of the Recording Academy since 2020, so I have not been able to really enjoy anything because there has been nothing to enjoy.
Yep. Not a great time to join, but
no. But this year it was in Las Vegas because the original date at what was the Staples Center got postponed because of Omicron, and they decided to move it to the MGM Grand because that arena is just so booked, and they didn't want to have it in June or something. So it was a little chaotic. I felt most of the time like very well-dressed cattle just being herded.
I'm sure of that.
To a different spot, and we had a good time. I mean,
nice.
Big hits as far as the fashion that we wore. And, it was a really special weekend and a fun time, and made a bunch of new friends and some people that I only know from LA chapter meetings over Zoom. I got to meet them in person.
There you go.
So
it's cool. One big networking event at that point.
Yeah, essentially. The average watcher of the Grammys, you take it as an award show.
Oh,
and
it's so much
of course
more
you would.
that.
But all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes and all the other kind of schmoozing and spiel that goes with that stuff, it's just
totally.
This is a very different experience, but I'm all about it right now.
There
so
you go.
It was a cool time, a good time, and now we're prepping for this show in Nashville. I am in talks with a few places in LA. There may be something in June.
Okay.
I'm not going to know probably until a month from now, but it would be a really fun show. It's more of a songwriter thing, and I'm starting to get my musicians together of like, okay, we got some things to prepare for. So
nice. Are you traveling to Nashville by yourself for this show, or do you have?
No, I'm bringing a guitarist with me. I mean, I play guitar.
Sweet. Sure.
But honestly, I hate playing and singing.
I feel the same.
A lot of these songs have a certain rhythm that is really syncopated with what I have to sing.
Yeah.
So I either have to not have a whole lot of emotion in my vocal delivery to play the guitar part right, or I'm going to do a really passionate vocal delivery and the guitar is going to be rather bland. So my friend Cabell Harris is going to play guitar and do background vocals. If they have a house keyboard, I'll take that, because I'm much more comfortable playing piano.
They've got something going on.
We'll see.
If it's a legit venue, they've got that stuff.
We're prepping both ways, because I can't bring my keyboard. My keyboard's no. And I certainly don't trust the airlines with that. That's my butter here.
Not.
So we'll see what comes of it. But if it's just guitar and two vocals, I'll have a shaker or some percussion thing probably.
Yeah, it'll be
cool. But we rehearsed yesterday. And I mean, it was only the second time we've gone through the numbers, and they were already really taking shape because I had to deconstruct them. Ross and I sang these demos into our phone of me on keys and him on guitar when we didn't know what the song was. Now I know what the song is, and I'm taking certain elements that I would want to apply in a certain way in an acoustic show, and then other things that I'm completely twisting around. So it'll be fun, and I am going to play one song that isn't released yet. So that'll be a good time to see how people respond to it. I'm excited about that.
Have you figured out the rest of the set list? Throwing any covers in there? Get the crowd
No covers.
Going?
This is
no covers. Cool.
Yeah, this one is from the presenter is the USA Songwriting Competition. So I won the overall first prize in 2019.
Oh yeah!
And I was supposed to do a couple of concerts with them in 2020. Spoiler alert, that didn't happen. Then we were going to do it in 2021. That also didn't happen.
No, sir.
And then we were planning for this year, and the first one, it got announced when all the Omicron stuff was going on. It was going to be at South by Southwest. And at the time I said, you know what? I think it's better for me to just say no for that one, because I don't
Sure.
know what's going to happen. If the Grammys got postponed,
Oh
then
yeah.
I'm just going to wait. But once I knew we got to spring, I felt a whole lot better.
Yeah,
So the Nashville gig for May was an easy one to say yes.
totally.
And
Texas
it'll
is also just a free for all
yeah, because I
nowadays.
have friends in Austin. I
Yeah.
would have loved to
Sure,
have,
sure.
see them for the first time in a while. And I've never played Austin before, and
Yeah.
I have other friends in the state that would have made the long drive just to come hang and things like that. But maybe next year we'll see. I mean, my goal really for this year is to get new material out and really build up a much bigger online presence,
Of
expand
course.
the music's reach, and then next year we can really do proper tours and things like that.
I completely
You know,
understand. And if
yeah,
there's one thing I can take from like your wrap up right here is that you're like building these stepping stones. Everything that you're
yeah,
doing is for a purpose. It's
yeah,
not kind of just flailing in the wind. Like obviously nowadays and even 10 years ago, like there's no there's no XYZ on how to make it. There's no, steps one, two, and three. It's kind of
right.
just like who you meet, who you talk to, and obviously the quality of your music speaks for itself. But you're
Thank you.
out there, you're doing the thing, you're getting it going, you're making music that people are obviously liking, they're listening and sharing.
Yeah,
It seems
yeah.
like things are going well.
It has been going well, and you said something that's very pertinent, that you put yourself out there, and
Yeah,
now you actually can. I mean, I looked at Grammy weekend as my reintroduction to the world in a lot of,
seriously.
because it was, oh wow, no masks. I'm actually shaking hands with people. I'm
Right. I thought
close
we
to
had gotten rid
people.
of that.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, some people
I'm
are doing the
kidding. I'm
fist bump,
kidding.
and I'm cool with
Yeah.
the bump.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a lot of old school cats is like,
Right. Right.
all that stuff, and it's fine. I mean, but it felt comfortable. It didn't feel weird.
Sure.
It felt like, what's the right way to say this? In a lot of ways, it kind of felt like going back to school, and that this feels very familiar but very different. And I have some
Totally.
flies, but not really,
Yeah.
because wait, I know how to speak.
It's like
But it was,
that jump from middle to high school where you know
yeah,
some people, but you're in a way bigger pond and you want to make
yeah.
a good impression, but you don't want to overstep your boundaries. It's a whole
Oh,
thing.
absolutely. And I mean, you never know who you're going to run into there. There are
I
so many
agree.
people, you can't, who's this person? And then
No.
you get the whole resume in the conversation, like, damn, that's you.
Right, exactly. And
It's
it's
cool.
sometimes the quietest people are the most powerful. You don't know
Yeah.
who you're going to run into in a bathroom or at a
It,
slot machine or whatever the hell. And it's just like,
it's true. I mean, I met a really cool guy that was a former label head while I was trying to find a seat in the food court.
yeah,
Like, hey,
easy as
brother,
that.
sit right here. I went, okay.
That's what I'm
Sure,
saying.
man. Who are you?
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are so many introverted people in the music industry who, and it's tough because it doesn't matter how old or young you are, you kind of do have to put yourself out there in those
Yeah.
social situations. But I mean,
Yeah.
listen, you're doing the damn thing. You're out there, you're making plans, and I'm
Yeah.
honestly excited to see where the rest of this year takes you. I can only assume that more music is on the way
It is.
in some capacity. Obviously, you don't
Yeah.
have to say, but
Once I get back from Nashville, we're having some mixing sessions, and there are three other songs that we're done with tracking. We may add a
oh,
solo or
nice.
something on some on a cut or two, but I know the next single. I know what the third one's going to be, so my
Okay,
focus will be on that to get that one all nice and spick and span. And
sure.
I want it to be a big summer song, and my hope is to get it out at the end of June. And
Perfect.
it's one of those things that, oh wow, it's almost the end of April. I have to really move. It's the time
Yeah,
just keeps moving really, really fast, and
agreed.
it feels like the list of errands and chores just keeps getting longer and longer. So
It's
I
true.
like I like that you said my approach is methodical, and I'm taking those stepping stones. But sometimes it does feel like I'm flailing about, because like,
I
oh
get
my
it.
God, I have to do this, but what about blah, 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 blah,
I guess it's better to be a little too busy than be like, sitting there twiddling your thumbs.
it's a good,
obviously, yeah, obviously you can't plan out everything to the minute, but you have
yeah.
guidelines and you have goals that you'd like to hit by certain dates, and you'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
absolutely. And I put a tremendous amount of pressure on myself to meet certain deadlines, which I'm
Yeah.
starting to really understand. I'm the one imposing those deadlines. If it was 2 weeks later, is that really the end of the world? Not really.
No.
It just depends on exactly what it is you're going for. That maybe this week is better than another week as far as a release or an appearance or something like
I
that. But
understand.
that's why you try and work with other good people that can help in that respect to take the weight off your shoulders, but then also say, "Ooh, I know you really want this, but maybe you should do that instead," and
I
have
get
that
it.
trust.
And that's the tough part is so many artists all over the world have waited till this year to release their works, and it really does feel like this time period right now is there's 100 albums coming out a week,
Yeah,
and at this point it's like your music has to speak for itself. There's no right date, there's no wrong date.
it's true.
Put it out there and try to be strategic with it.
Yeah, and get as much marketing behind it as you possibly
Yeah,
can because it's an oversaturated marketplace, and there's a lot of good music that falls through the cracks.
yeah,
It was
man.
fun with Give a Little Lovin' on MTV. The people that were being played alongside me, I hadn't heard of pretty much any of them,
Oh,
and some of the music I went, wow, I really like this. Who are these people?
there you
And,
go.
and then you start finding them on a Google search or on Instagram and stuff. And it's cool to see, as far as in the eyes of a giant company like Viacom, they think we're all here. And I think that's pretty cool. Because when you're in your own world, your own fishbowl all the time, you kind of forget.
Yeah,
And I mean, I feel very privileged that I've worked with a lot of unbelievable people and that have great reputations.
totally.
Again, 2 years of not being on the road, not being in other sessions, not being invited places. Who am I? I don't know what I'm doing anymore sometimes.
Yeah.
So to get that kind of injection from being on TV was very cool. Like, all right, I must be doing something okay because they put
Exactly.
me here, and I like a lot of what I'm hearing. Because
Hmm.
you can go to a venue, and even if it's a reputable venue, the bill could be hit or miss.
Yeah,
But
always.
right, I mean, sometimes you get a really solid one, but other times it's as if they just threw a bunch of acts together. They scraped from the bottom of the master inbox or whatever. But
Seriously.
in this particular case, and watching Spankin' New was pretty awesome because first off, it's cool to see yourself on the TV and with the MTV logo on the bottom right corner and all that stuff. But
Right.
then to hear what is being played around you, you're like, wow, I like a lot of this stuff way more than what's dominating Billboard at the moment. And if this is what's coming, we're in a pretty good place for pop music. And it wasn't just pop; it was R&B and country and
That's
hip
how it
hop,
feels sometimes.
rock. Yeah,
But
yeah, I agree.
yeah, as we all know, the music industry is always going to be complicated and unpredictable in its own ways.
Yeah,
So just
nothing we can
gotta
really do about that. You just do
gotta
the best
write it out
you can.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Jamie, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to catch up with you and hear about all these like great things that you've got in the works. Obviously, please keep me posted if you've got
Oh,
something going on in
yeah,
the Los Angeles
absolutely.
area. I am going to begin to wrap things up here, but I'm also going to ask you the same question that I asked you when we finished last time for all
Oh,
those
sure.
that haven't watched. So basically the question is for the person that is going to discover you from this and for the person that's going to listen to your music for the first time, what is an opening message that you'd like to say to them?
I'll stick with the theming from Break the Fall because I think
Nice.
that song really encompasses a lot of who I am as a
Sure.
person and what I bring to the table then musically. The message with that song and with a lot of what I tend to write is optimism.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that are very challenging in this world, and we've all had our own cross to bear and other things that have been incredibly challenging. But I think if you can find a little silver lining along the way, you're already in a much better place than where you were before. And I'd actually also like to add that I watched an interview with Sting not too long ago, and he was asked a question about modern music and why it feels so hollow compared to his heyday in certain ways. And he had a very interesting answer that I've never heard put in quite the same way. He
Hmm.
said that today's music offers a lot of problems, but it offers very little solutions.
That is
And
a great
he
point.
that in,
Actually.
he put
Yeah.
that in musical format, in that
Yeah.
when you're telling a story, the bridge is that part of the song
Hmm.
that really brings it all together. It gives you the twist, it gives you the surprise, or it gives you the resolution that now the outro chorus takes on a different meaning. So with a sad song in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, whatever, there was still emphasis on a bridge. Maybe sometimes the radio would cut it out, but that still existed in the musical format.
Yeah.
And now, not so much. It's more A,
It's
B, A,
true.
B. And by not having that turn, you're just kind of wallowing in that misery. And
Ah,
I
that's a
would
good
like to
point.
think that in my music, if I'm presenting a problem, I'm also giving at least a direction towards a solution.
There you go.
Mhm.
I think you are. I mean, obviously, your music is catchy on the production side and the instrumentation, but it's
Thank
not hollow in the lyricism. It actually provides the full and complete story. So I
you.
think you've got that going for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very
Thanks.
welcome. Jamie, I want to thank you so much again, and I want to plug your music one more time. The song is called Break the Fall. Listen to it, stream it, send it to your friends. We'll obviously have links so people can listen and share and do all that fun stuff. But I wish you the best until next time, and great luck on the show coming up. I can't wait to hear
Thanks.
how it went.
I appreciate it. Always a pleasure to be here. Good talking
Always
with
a
you.
pleasure, man. Take care, and we'll speak soon.
All
Bye
right. Be
bye.
well.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.